The woman was dying inside her own car. Owen Fletcher saw it the moment he reached the black Mercedes. She slumped against the steering wheel, one hand pressed to her chest, the other clutching a titanium badge on the dashboard. Her breath came in short, desperate pulls. When he opened the door, her eyes snapped to his. Sharp, terrified. "Don't call anyone," she whispered. Her fingers tightened around the badge. "Just help me get home." "Please." Owen hesitated. Every instinct screamed hospital. But something in her voice made him stop. The way she said please, like she was asking him to save more than her life. So he made a choice that day in a supermarket parking lot. He slid into the driver's seat of a car that wasn't his and drove a dying stranger home. What he didn't see coming was the badge still clutched in her trembling hand, or the name engraved on cold titanium, a name that would pull him back into a past he'd spent 5 years burying. The address she gave him led to a neighborhood Owen had only seen from highways. Trees lined both sides of the road, their branches forming tunnels of green that filtered the afternoon light into something softer. The houses sat back from the street, half hidden behind iron gates and stone walls. She directed him with small gestures. Left here, straight. The third driveway on the right. Her breathing had steadied, but her knuckles stayed white around that badge. Owen pulled into a circular driveway. The house rose 3 stories, all glass and pale stone. Floor-to-ceiling windows reflected the sky back at itself. He put the car in park and turned to look at her. Color had returned to her face, but barely. She looked like someone who'd just outrun death by inches. "Thank you," she said. Her voice was stronger now. She reached into a purse with shaking hands and pulled out a $100 bill. Held it toward him. Owen shook his head. "I don't want your money. She pressed it toward him anyway. "You saved my life. I drove you home. That's more than most people would do." She set the bill on the passenger seat between them. Then she opened the door and stepped out. Owen watched her walk to her front door, one hand trailing along the car for balance. She didn't look back. He sat there for a moment in a car that probably cost more than he'd make in 3 years. The leather seats smelled new. The dashboard gleamed. And there, in the cup holder where she'd finally set it down, was the titanium badge. Owen picked it up, cold metal against his palm. He turned it over. Brennan Medical Technology. The logo hit him like a fist to the chest. And beneath it, engraved in small letters, Dr. Raymond Brennan. Owen's hands went numb. The badge slipped from his fingers and clattered into the cup holder. He knew that name. He'd worked for that man. 10 years ago, Raymond Brennan had been the best mentor Owen ever had. 5 years ago, that same company had fired Owen and buried his career so deep he'd had to change his name on every job application just to get an interview at a garage. Owen looked up at the house, at the woman who'd disappeared inside. He didn't know who she was, but she carried Raymond Brennan's badge like it was oxygen, and that couldn't be coincidence. He left the $100 on the seat and drove back to the supermarket parking lot. His truck was still there, waiting. He had to pick up his son from school. He was already 10 minutes late. Lincoln Elementary sat at the end of a street lined with minivans and SUVs. Owen pulled his truck into the pickup lane and scanned the crowd of kids spilling out the front doors. Liam stood near the flagpole, backpack hanging off one thin shoulder. 9 years old and built like a strong wind could knock him over. Owen's chest tightened the way it always did when he saw his son. The boy was pale. Too pale. And when he climbed into the truck, Owen could hear the slight wheeze in his breath. "Hey, Dad." Liam dropped his backpack on the floor and buckled in. You're late. Sorry, buddy. Got held up. It's okay. Liam pulled a folded paper from his pocket. We learned about the heart today in science. He unfolded it carefully. A drawing in red crayon. 4 chambers, valves, labels in his careful handwriting. Mrs. Patterson said the heart is like a machine. It pumps blood everywhere, and if one part breaks, the whole thing stops working. Owen's throat went tight. That's a good drawing. She said some people are born with hearts that don't work right, but doctors can fix them. Liam looked up at Owen with eyes too old for his face. When can I play soccer, Dad? Owen gripped the steering wheel. Soon. You always say soon. I know. How soon is soon? Owen pulled into traffic. He couldn't look at his son. Couldn't see the hope in those eyes when he had no good answer to give. The doctors are working on it, Liam. They're figuring out the best way to help you. Okay. Liam folded the drawing back up and stuck it in his pocket. Then he leaned his head against the window and watched the world slide by. The wheeze in his breathing got a little louder. Their apartment was on the 2nd floor of a building that had been old when Owen moved in 5 years ago. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a kitchen barely big enough to turn around in. But it was clean, and it was theirs. Owen unlocked the door, and Liam went straight to the couch, dropping his backpack on the floor. The boy was tired. He was always tired now. Owen pulled leftover pasta from the fridge and stuck it in the microwave. While it heated, he unfolded the hospital bill from his pocket. The paper had gone soft from being folded and unfolded so many times. $47,000. The number never changed, no matter how many times he looked at it. Liam needed surgery, a valve replacement. Pediatric cardiac surgery at a specialty hospital 3 hours away. The kind of surgery that cost more than Owen made in 2 years, and their insurance was still deciding whether they'd cover it. The microwave beeped. Owen divided the pasta onto 2 plates and carried them to the coffee table. Liam ate slowly, pushing noodles around with his fork. Dad? Yeah, buddy? Am I going to get better? Owen set his fork down. He moved to the couch and sat next to his son, put his arm around thin shoulders. You are. I promise. When? Soon. You keep saying that. Because it's true. The doctors are good. They know what they're doing, and I'm going to make sure you get the help you need. Liam leaned into him. Okay, I believe you. After dinner, Owen tucked Liam into bed. The boy fell asleep fast, one arm wrapped around a stuffed dinosaur he'd had since he was 3. Owen stood in the doorway and watched him breathe. Each breath was a little too shallow, a little too fast. Dr. Patel had been clear. 6 to 8 weeks. Maybe less. Without surgery, Liam's heart would give out. And with every day that passed, the window got smaller. Owen closed the door softly and walked back to the living room. He sat on the couch in the dark. The hospital bill sat on the coffee table, glowing white in the streetlight coming through the window. He should call the insurance company again. He should call the hospital. He should call Dr. Patel and ask if there were other options, cheaper options, payment plans, anything. But he'd made all those calls already, multiple times. The answer was always the same. Wait, be patient. They were reviewing the case. Owen picked up his phone and opened the browser. His fingers moved before his brain caught up. He typed, Brennan Medical Tech, Catherine Brennan. The search results loaded. CEO Catherine Brennan. Articles from medical journals, conference photos, awards, a Wikipedia page. Owen clicked it. Catherine Brennan. Age 42. CEO of Brennan Medical Tech since taking over after the death of her husband, Dr. Raymond Brennan, 3 years ago. She'd been with the company for 15 years, took medical leave 5 years ago for undisclosed health reasons, returned to find the company in turmoil, spent the last 2 years restructuring. Owen stared at the screen. The woman in the Mercedes. That was Catherine Brennan, Raymond's widow. And 5 years ago, when she'd been gone on medical leave, someone had fired Owen, destroyed his reputation, stolen his research. Someone had made sure Owen Fletcher's name would never work in medical device engineering again. Owen closed the browser. He set the phone down. He didn't know what it meant that he'd just saved Catherine Brennan's life. But the badge in her car, Raymond's badge, that meant something. It had to. 3 days passed. Owen worked double shifts at the garage, coming home late to find Liam already asleep. The medical bills piled up. The insurance company still hadn't called. And Owen couldn't stop thinking about that badge, about Raymond Brennan, about the way Catherine had clutched it like it was the only thing keeping her alive. He was under the hood of a Ford pickup when he heard footsteps on concrete, heels, clicking across the garage floor in a rhythm that didn't belong in a place that smelled like oil and old metal. Owen rolled out from under the truck. Catherine Brennan stood in the doorway. She looked better than she had 3 days ago, color in her face, steady on her feet. But there was something fragile about her still, like she was held together by will alone. She wore dark slacks and a white blouse. Professional, controlled. In one hand, she carried a leather purse. In the other, an envelope. "Mr. Fletcher," she said. Her voice was calm. Even, like they were meeting for a business appointment. "Miss Brennan." Owen stood and wiped his hands on a rag. "What are you doing here? I came to thank you properly." She held out the envelope. "For Tuesday." Owen didn't take it. "I told you I don't want your money. It's not just money." She stepped closer. "It's gratitude. You saved my life. I drove you home. And you didn't ask questions. You didn't call 911 when I begged you not to. You respected my choice." She set the envelope on his workbench. "That's worth more than $100. Owen looked at the envelope, then at her. "Why didn't you want me to call?" "Because hospitals ask questions I don't want to answer. You could have died." "I know." Her hand moved to her purse, to something inside it. "But I didn't. Because of you." Owen crossed his arms. "How did you find me?" "Your name was on a receipt in my glove box, from the supermarket. I have resources. That's mildly terrifying. I prefer thorough." A small smile touched her lips, then faded. "I also came to ask you something." "What?" "You look familiar. Have we met before?" The question hit Owen like cold water. He kept his face neutral. "No." "Are you sure? I have one of those faces." Catherine studied him. Her eyes were sharp, missing nothing. "Brennan Medical Tech. You worked there, didn't you?" Owen's jaw tightened. "A long time ago." "How long? Does it matter?" "It might." Before Owen could answer, a door at the back of the garage opened. Liam came out, backpack dragging on the ground. He stopped when he saw Catherine, stared at her with open curiosity. "Hi," he said. Catherine's entire expression changed. The professional mask cracked. Something raw and painful flashed across her face before she could hide it. "Hello," she said softly. "What's your name?" "Liam Fletcher." He stuck out his hand like Owen had taught him. Catherine shook it gently. Her hand was trembling. "Nice to meet you, Liam. You can call me Kay. Are you a friend of my dad's?" "I hope to be." Kay knelt down to his level. "What do you have there?" Liam pulled the drawing from his backpack. The heart. 4 chambers. Red crayon. "We're learning about hearts in science." "Did you know the heart pumps blood to your whole body?" "I did know that." Kay's voice was barely above a whisper. She took the drawing with trembling fingers. "It's beautiful, Liam. My dad used to make hearts. Real ones. For people." Kay looked up at Owen. Her eyes were wet. "He did? A long time ago." Owen said quickly, "Liam, go wash up. We're leaving soon." Liam took his drawing back and disappeared into the bathroom. Kay stood slowly. When she looked at Owen, there were tears tracking down her face. She didn't bother wiping them away. "How old is he?" "9. He's sick." It wasn't a question. Owen's hands curled into fists. "That's none of your business." "I know the signs. The pallor, the wheeze, congenital." "I said it's none of your business." "I have the same condition, Mr. Fletcher. Genetic, progressive. So did my husband. So I know exactly what you're facing." She reached into her purse and pulled out a card. Set it on the workbench next to the envelope. "If you ever need anything, call me." "Why would I do that?" "Because Raymond would have wanted me to help you. And because some people are worth saving, even when they don't think they are." She walked to the door, stopped, turned back. "The envelope has $500 in it. Use it however you need. And Mr. Fletcher, I meant what I said. If you need anything, call." Then she was gone. Owen stood there, staring at the card. Catherine Brennan, CEO, a phone number written in neat handwriting on the back. He picked up the envelope. Inside was $500 in crisp bills, and a note in the same handwriting. "Thank you for not asking questions." She'd signed it with just her initials. KB. That Saturday, Owen's phone rang while he was making breakfast. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer. "Hello?" "Mr. Fletcher, this is Janet from Riverside Insurance. I'm calling about claim number A47839. Owen's stomach dropped. He set down the spatula. "Yes. I'm afraid your claim has been denied." The kitchen tilted. "What?" "We've reviewed the medical documentation submitted by Dr. Patel, and we found significant administrative discrepancies. The risk assessment profile doesn't meet our coverage criteria." "What does that mean?" "It means we cannot approve coverage for the requested procedure." "My son needs that surgery." "I understand, Mr. Fletcher. You have the right to appeal. The process typically takes 6 to 8 weeks. Owen's hand tightened on the phone. He doesn't have 6 to 8 weeks. "I'm very sorry. You should receive the denial letter in the mail within 3 to 5 business days. Is there anything else I can help you with today?" Owen hung up. He stood there, spatula in one hand, phone in the other, while eggs burned on the stove. Liam appeared in the doorway in his dinosaur pajamas. "Dad?" "Something's burning." Owen turned off the stove, scraped the ruined eggs into the trash, started over. His hands were shaking so badly he could barely crack the eggs. "Dad, are you okay?" "I'm fine, buddy. Just distracted. Is it about my surgery?" Owen looked at his son. 9 years old. Too smart for his own good. "Yeah. Is something wrong? Nothing I can't handle? You don't look like you can handle it." Owen knelt down, put his hands on Liam's shoulders. "Listen to me. I'm going to fix this, I promise. Whatever it takes, you're getting that surgery. Okay?" Liam hugged him. "I love you, Dad." "I love you too, buddy." But when Liam went back to his room to get dressed, Owen pulled out his phone, dialed Dr. Patel's number. The doctor answered on the 3rd ring. "Owen, I was just about to call you." They denied it. "I know, I got the letter this morning. And Owen, something is very wrong with this." "What do you mean?" "The report they're citing. The risk assessment. I didn't write half of it. The language is wrong. The scores are inflated, things I never said about Liam's condition. Someone altered it. I can't prove that, but yes, I think someone did." Owen's blood went cold. "Who has access to those files?" "The hospital system. The insurance company. and any medical device manufacturers involved in the case. Brennan Medical Tech. Silence. Then, yes. They manufactured the valve we'd use for Liam's surgery. They'd have access to the technical specifications. Why? I need to go. I'll call you back. Owen hung up. He stared at Catherine Brennan's card on the counter. Someone at Brennan Medical Tech had altered Liam's insurance claim. Someone had made sure it would be denied. And Owen only knew one person who had the access and the motive to do something like that. Preston Walsh. The man who'd destroyed Owen's career 5 years ago. The man who'd stolen his research and published it under his own name. If Preston saw Owen's name flagged in the system, he'd know. He'd know that Liam's surgery would use the valve Owen had designed, the valve Preston had stolen, and he'd make damn sure that surgery never happened. Owen picked up the phone, dialed the number on Catherine's card. She answered immediately. Catherine Brennan. It's Owen Fletcher. I need to talk to you. When? Now. Where? Your place. I don't want Liam to hear this. I'll send you the address. Come now. 20 minutes later, Owen pulled up to the same house he'd driven her to 3 days ago. This time, he walked to the front door. Catherine answered before he could knock. She'd changed into jeans and a sweater. Her hair was down. She looked more human, more vulnerable. Come in, she said. The inside of the house was as impressive as the outside. High ceilings, hardwood floors, art on the walls. But it felt empty, like a museum. Catherine led him to a home office at the back of the house. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked a garden. A desk covered in papers and laptops. Files stacked everywhere. She gestured to a chair. Sit. Tell me what happened. Owen told her everything. The insurance denial, Dr. Patel's call, the altered medical files. When he finished, Catherine was pale. Her hands were shaking. Preston, she said. Preston Walsh. You're sure? I've seen this before. The same pattern, the same language. He's done it to dozens of people over the years. She stood and walked to a file cabinet, pulled out a thick folder. When I came back from medical leave 5 years ago, I found irregularities. Engineers terminated without cause, research reassigned, credit stolen, all with the same administrative language. Why didn't you stop him? I tried. The board protected him. He delivers profits. $200 million in the last 3 years alone. They don't care how he gets those results. She dropped the folder on the desk. But I kept investigating. Quietly. For 2 years, looking for proof. Did you find it? Pieces. Fragments. Nothing solid enough to bring to the board. Preston is careful. Everything has plausible deniability. She opened the folder, pulled out a document. But this is your termination file. Owen took it. Read the first page, his signature at the bottom, except he'd never signed it. That's not my signature. I know, it's a digital forgery. Look at the metadata. She pulled up a file on her laptop. Uploaded from Preston's workstation at 11:47 p.m., the night before your termination hearing. Owen's vision went red. He framed me. Systematically. He did it to 12 engineers over 5 years, took their work, published it under his name, built an empire on theft. She pulled up more files. And now he's doing it to your son. Owen stood, walked to the window, stared out at the garden. His hands were shaking. My son is dying because this man wants to cover his ass. Yes. Catherine's voice was quiet. I believe so. Then we bring him down. I'm trying. But I need proof. Real proof. Server logs, email trails, something he can't explain away. How long will that take? I don't know. 2 weeks? Maybe 3. Owen turned. Liam has 4 weeks. Maybe 5. We don't have time. Catherine stood, walked over to him. Then we work fast. I have access to the backup servers, old files. If Preston ordered this, there's a trail. You're the CEO. Can't you just fire him? Not without cause. The board would vote me out. I need undeniable evidence. She pulled out her phone, opened a file. But I have something. Your original research files, from before Preston deleted them. The Gen 4 pediatric valve design. Your work. Owen stared at the screen, at his own notes, calculations, drawings. How did you get these? Raymond saved them. Before he died, he told me Preston had stolen something. He wanted me to find out what. So I've been digging through old servers for 2 years. Owen took the phone, scrolled through his own work. This could save Liam. Yes, if we can finish the design, get it approved, fast-track it through the FDA. That takes years. Not if the CEO of the company personally sponsors it. Not if we have a patient in critical need. I can pull strings, Owen, but I need your help. What kind of help? Technical. You're the engineer. You know this design better than anyone. We finish it together. We get it approved. And we use it to save your son. She met his eyes. And then we use the evidence of Preston's theft to destroy him. Owen looked at the files, at his own work, at the chance to save Liam. When do we start? Tonight. Catherine led him to a second desk, pulled up chairs, opened laptops. We have 4 weeks. Let's make them count. They worked through the night. Catherine had access to everything. Server backups, email archives, financial records, and Owen's fingers remembered the work, the calculations, the problem-solving. It was like coming home after 5 years in exile. By 3 a.m, they had a timeline. Preston had stolen Owen's research the week after Owen's termination, published it under his own name 6 months later, made millions, and covered his tracks at every turn. He's careful, Catherine said, but not perfect. Look at this. She pulled up an email from Preston to the insurance subsidiary that handled Brennan Medical Tech's employee claims. Flag claim number A47839. Patient surname Fletcher. Deny under Admin Protocol 7. Bury it. The timestamp was 2 days after Liam's claim was submitted. Owen stared at the screen. He ordered it directly. In writing. He deleted it from the main server. But he didn't know about the backup protocol. They don't purge for 6 months. Catherine saved the file. This is it. The smoking gun. Is it enough? For the board? Maybe. For the police? Definitely. This is fraud. Insurance fraud. Criminal. She looked at Owen. But if we use this now, it'll take months to process. Investigations, trials, and Liam doesn't have months. Then what do? We use it as leverage. We go to Preston. We tell him we have this, and we give him a choice. Approve Liam's surgery immediately. Step down quietly. Or we go public. Owen shook his head. He'll never agree to that. He will if the alternative is prison. Catherine closed the laptop. Preston is a coward. He spent 5 years hiding behind plausible deniability. But this email is explicit. Undeniable. He can't explain it away. And he knows it. When do we confront him? Monday, at the office, in front of witnesses. What if he calls our bluff? Then we go to the press, the board, the police, and we burn his entire empire to the ground. Catherine looked at Owen. But I don't think he'll call it. Because Preston Walsh is a lot of things. But he's not brave. Owen looked at the email, at the evidence, at the chance to save his son and destroy the man who'd destroyed him. Okay, Monday. The weekend crawled by. Owen couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. He kept Liam busy with movies and board games, trying not to let the boy see the fear in his eyes. Saturday night, Catherine called. How are you holding up? I'm not. Me neither. A pause. Owen, there's something you should know. What? I'm dying. The same condition Liam has, genetic, but mine is too far gone. Stage 4, 6 months, maybe less. Owen closed his eyes. Kay, I'm telling you because I need you to understand. This isn't just about Liam, or you, or even Raymond. This is about making sure the time I have left means something. Preston turned my husband's company into a machine that destroys people, and I'm not dying until I fix that. You don't have to do this. Yes, I do. Because if I don't, who will? She took a breath. Monday. We end this. Monday. Owen hung up. He sat in the dark, listening to Liam breathe in the next room, and for the first time in 5 years he felt something like hope. Monday morning, Owen met Catherine in the parking lot of Brennan Medical Tech. The building was all glass and steel, 10 stories, the logo etched in granite by the front doors. Owen hadn't been here in 5 years, hadn't thought he'd ever come back. Catherine was waiting by her car. She wore a dark suit. Hair pulled back. All business. Ready? She asked. No. Good. Neither am I. She handed him a folder. Evidence? Backups on 3 USB drives. If this goes wrong, you take these to the police. It won't go wrong. You don't know Preston like I do. They walked inside together. The elevator ride to the 10th floor was silent. Catherine's hands were shaking. Owen reached over and squeezed her shoulder. She gave him a small smile. The doors opened. Catherine's assistant looked up. Miss Brennan, Mr. Walsh is in his office. Thank you, Janet. Hold my calls. They walked down the hall. Preston Walsh's office was at the end. Corner suite, windows overlooking the city. Catherine didn't knock. She walked in. Preston was on the phone. He looked up, saw Catherine, saw Owen. His face went white. I'll call you back, he said into the phone. Hung up. Stood. Catherine, what's going on? We need to talk. Catherine closed the door behind them. About Owen Fletcher and insurance fraud. Preston's eyes darted between them. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. Catherine set her laptop on his desk, opened it, pulled up the email. Flag claim A47839, deny under Admin Protocol 7. Preston read it. The color drained from his face. Where did you get that? The backup server, the one you didn't know about. Catherine leaned forward. You ordered the denial of a 9-year-old's medical claim. To cover up the fact that you stole his father's research 5 years ago. That's insurance fraud. That's theft of intellectual property. And that's just what I can prove in the last 10 minutes. Preston sat down. Hard. You can't prove anything. I have 12 engineers willing to testify. I have server logs, financial records. And I have this email. In your own words, sent from your workstation. Catherine straightened. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to personally approve Owen Fletcher's son's insurance claim. Today. Full coverage. Then you're going to resign. Quietly. No severance, no golden parachute. You walk away. And if I don't, I go to the board, the press, the police, and I make sure everyone knows what you've done. Your career is over. Your reputation is destroyed, and you go to prison. Preston looked at Owen. This is about revenge. No, Owen said quietly. This is about my son, and every other person you've destroyed. Preston was silent for a long moment. Then he reached for his phone. Dialed. This is Preston Walsh. I need you to pull claim A47839. Yes, I'm personally approving it. Full coverage. Expedite it. He hung up, looked at Catherine. It's done. Good. Now your resignation. Preston pulled out a piece of paper, wrote 3 lines, signed it, slid it across the desk. Catherine read it, nodded. The board will accept this at the emergency meeting this afternoon. You already called a meeting? I'm thorough. Catherine picked up her laptop. Clean out your office. Security will escort you out in 1 hour. Preston stood, looked at Owen. You think you've won. But this company runs on what I built. No, Catherine said. It runs on what you stole. And now it's going back to the people it belongs to. She walked to the door. Owen followed. Behind them, Preston slumped in his chair. Outside, in the hallway, Catherine stopped, leaned against the wall. She was shaking. Owen put a hand on her shoulder. You okay? No, but I will be. She looked up at him. Your son's surgery. It's approved. They'll call you today. Thank you. Don't thank me. You did this. You and Liam. You gave me a reason to finish what Raymond started. She pushed off the wall. Come on, I have something to show you. She led him to another office. Smaller, windows overlooking the campus. A desk, a drafting table, computer equipment. This was Raymond's office. I've kept it empty for 3 years. She turned to Owen. I want you to have it. Kay, I can't work here. Why not? Because I haven't worked as an engineer in 5 years. Then it's time to come back. We need to finish the Gen 4 design, get it FDA approved, save Liam and every other kid who needs it. She held out a key. Director of Pediatric Cardiac Engineering. Your old title, your old work, your name on the designs this time. Owen took the key, looked at the office, at the drafting table, at the chance to come home. When do I start? Today, if you want. Catherine smiled. Raymond would be so proud. She walked to the door, stopped. There's one more thing. Raymond's badge, the one I had in the car. I want you to have it. She pulled it from her purse, set it on the desk. He'd want you to finish what you both started. Owen picked up the badge, felt the weight of it, the engraving. Dr. Raymond Brennan. I can't take this. Yes, you can, because you're going to carry on his work, and that's all he ever wanted. She left him there, standing in Raymond's office, holding Raymond's badge, with a chance to build the future Raymond had dreamed of. 6 weeks later, Owen stood in a hospital room, watching his son sleep. Liam had come through surgery perfectly. The valve was working. His color was good. His breathing was steady and strong. Dr. Patel said he could go home in 2 days. And next year, maybe, he could try out for soccer. Owen sat in the chair by the bed and took his son's hand. There was a soft knock. Owen turned. Catherine stood in the doorway. She looked thinner than she had 6 weeks ago. Paler, but she was smiling. How is he? Perfect. Owen stood. Come in. Catherine walked slowly to the bed, looked down at Liam. He's beautiful. He is. Can I? She gestured to the chair. Owen nodded. Catherine sat. She pulled something from her purse. Raymond's badge. I know I gave this to you, but I thought maybe Liam should have it. She set it on the bedside table. For the bravest heart I know. Liam's eyes opened, blinked, focused on Catherine. Miss Kay. His voice was rough from the breathing tube, but he was smiling. You came. Of course I came. Kay took his hand. How are you feeling? Like a superhero. You are a superhero. Kay's eyes filled with tears. You're going to do amazing things, Liam. Will I see you again? Kay looked at Owen, then back at Liam. Every time you look at that badge, I'll be right there. Liam picked up the badge, held it carefully. I'll keep it safe. I know you will. Kay stood. She leaned down and kissed Liam's forehead. I love you, sweetheart. I love you too, Miss Kay. Kay walked to the door. Owen followed her out into the hallway. "How long?" he asked quietly. "Weeks, maybe days." "Kay. It's okay. I did what I needed to do. Preston is gone, the company is clean, and Liam is going to live." She smiled. "That's more than I hoped for. Thank you." Owen's voice broke. "For everything. No, thank you, for letting me matter." She touched his face. "Take care of him. And finish the work. For Raymond, for all of us." Then she walked down the hallway and disappeared around the corner. Owen stood there, watching her go. He never saw her again. Catherine Brennan died 3 weeks later. Quietly. At home. The funeral was private. But Owen and Liam went anyway. They stood in the back of the chapel and listened to people talk about her brilliance, her dedication, her integrity. And when it was over, Liam put a drawing on her casket. A heart, red crayon, 4 chambers, with a note. "Thank you for saving me. Love, Liam." 1 year later, Owen stood in the new pediatric cardiac lab at Brennan Medical Tech. Sunlight streamed through tall windows. His team was testing the Gen 4 valve, the design he and Raymond had started, the design Kay had helped him finish, and it was working. Perfectly. "Dad!" Liam ran into the lab, backpack bouncing, healthy, vibrant, alive. "Can I see?" Owen pulled up the simulation on the screen, a heart, beating strong. "This is it, buddy. The valve that saved you, and it's going to save hundreds of other kids, too." Liam studied the screen seriously. Then he pulled the titanium badge from his pocket. He carried it everywhere. Miss Kay would be happy. "She is, buddy." Wherever she is. On the wall behind them hung a bronze plaque. The Brennan Heart Initiative. In memory of Dr. Raymond Brennan and Catherine Brennan. Some lives are worth saving. All lives are worth fighting for. Liam looked at it. Then at Owen. "She's still here, isn't she?" Owen knelt down, put his hands on his son's shoulders. "Every day, in every heart we save, in every kid who gets to play soccer, in every family that doesn't have to say goodbye." "Good." Liam hugged him. "Because I don't want to forget her." "We won't, I promise." From across the lab, Owen's lead engineer called out, "Owen!" The prototype. "It's working." Owen and Liam walked over. On the screen, the valve functioned perfectly. Years of work, finished. Owen looked up at the ceiling. "Thank you, Raymond." "Thank you, Kay." Liam tugged his sleeve. "Dad?" "Can I ask you something?" "Anything." "Miss Kay said the best way to thank someone is to pass it on. What does that mean?" Owen smiled. "It means when someone helps you, you help someone else. You keep the kindness going. Like you're doing. With the hearts. Exactly like that." Liam nodded, thought about it. Then he looked out at the lab, at the team working, at the future being built. "Then I want to do that too. When I grow up, I want to help kids like me." Owen's throat tightened. "You will, buddy. I know you will." And in that moment, standing in the lab where Raymond had worked, where Kay had fought, where Owen had rebuilt his life, he felt something he hadn't felt in 5 years. Peace. Because sometimes the people who save us are the ones who needed saving too, and sometimes one act of kindness in a parking lot can change everything. Owen looked at his son, at the badge in Liam's hand, at the future spreading out before them like sunlight, and he knew that whatever came next, they'd face it together, the way families do, the way Kay had taught them, one heart at a time.